For 3 minutes.
And I thank the gentleman for yielding, and I do want to rise in support of the rule and support of the underlying bill. You know, it's interesting. Our Energy Secretary, Secretary Granholm, came to Austin, Texas 3 or 4 weeks ago and talked about how we should learn from the Chinese and the communist Chinese and their approach to climate change. Talk about putting polluters over people. If she would consult her own Energy Information Agency, she would see that China gets 55% of its energy from coal, whereas the United States gets 11% of its energy. And guess what? China is building more and more coal-fired plants each and every week that goes by. So who indeed is putting polluters over people? I submit it is this administration, and in the last Congress it was congressional Democrats. This bill before us today is a culmination of years of hard work by, yes, the Energy and Commerce Committee, Committee on Natural Resources, the Committee on Infrastructure and Transportation. It is a critical step forward. One of the things that I've worked on for a number of years is the Promoting Interagency Coordination for National Review of Gas Pipelines Act. It is included in this bill. I think it's critically important, not just for a state like Texas, but literally the entire country. So I'm grateful that other Republican members saw fit to include this legislation as we seek to address the obstacles preventing Americans from actually achieving lower energy costs. Look, in 2.5 years, less than 2.5 years, we've gone from relative energy abundance to energy scarcity. We've gone from energy affordability to energy unaffordability. Why in the world would we want to continue down that pathway? H.R. 1 also contains the repeal of Section 5131 of the Inflation Reduction Act. Now look, this provided $1 billion to coerce state and local governments into adopting costly energy codes. If these grants were allowed to stand, they would take away local control over energy code adoption and federalize these overreaching mandates. Efforts to push costly and restrictive energy codes across the country overburden new construction and largely ignore the energy performance of the existing housing stock. New homes built to modern codes are already energy efficient, and further increases in that stringency must be carefully considered because, in fact, we're not doing that with these grant programs. You know, Mr. Speaker, 2 years ago, the Congress started with what was called the American Rescue Plan. It brought us high inflation. It brought us high prices. This is truly the American Rescue Plan. Let's put energy affordability back within the reach of the average American, and I yield back my time.
The gentleman from Pennsylvania reserves.